Cheif TV.
Wayaboki abenege khai wabugi wabidao meno fomilayo okorafo. Me ohiari wale ulele dene na nebotie event on Cheif TV vem ekpetiunge nije metie atete vison. Okay, on this note, I want to say a very big welcome to you on the program event on Cheif TV. This is of course a program that showcases events of all sorts, be it a wedding, a housewarming, naming, child dedication, whatever kind of event. Today we are going to be bringing your way the first memorial held in honor of late Chief Dr. David Uyuhumwn Edebiri OON, the late Esogban of the Great Benin Kingdom. Sometimes last year he passed on to glory, and this year his children, supported by friends, relatives, well-wishers, associates, business guru, chiefs from the royal palace, in celebrating the memorial of this great icon. It was indeed a 2-day memorial event or service. Today we are going to be bringing your way to day one, which was of course a memorial lecture held in his honor. The theme of this memorial lecture was of course towards a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. It was of course graced by notable personalities, a mind-blowing one at that. A whole lot was talked about in the lecture. Without saying too much on this, please, our phone numbers are there on your screen. Give us a call, drop your comments on our comment session, follow us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube. Let us know, what do you think? You can also send your wishes to the children of the Edebiris. Straight on, let's go see the day one, the memorial lecture held in honor of late Chief Dr. David Uyuhumwn Edebiri OON, the late Esogban of Benin.
The first memorial of late Chief Dr. David Uyuhumn Edebiri OON, the late Esogban of Benin Kingdom, began with a memorial lecture with the theme towards a government of the people, by the people, and for the people in Nigeria. Friends, children, associates, well-wishers, Uniben student body, traditionalists, politicians, and above all, Edo governorship candidates of different political parties were in attendance and were offered the opportunity to speak on their manifesto and to their electorates. Cheif TV crew were on ground to capture every moment. It began with red carpet hosted by Cheif TV rep.
We are here to thank God and commemorate the first memorial anniversary of his passing. And we're doing it over 2 days. Today we have a public lecture, again to reflect on the state of the nation, which was a major preoccupation of my father. He was always concerned about the state of the nation and the welfare of the people. So we are bringing all people together, market women, civil society, politicians, especially the governorship candidates of the various parties in the Edo State election, to brainstorm and see what we could be doing and the kind of solutions we'll be profiling to the myriads of problems and challenges we have today as a nation.
It's been 1 year memorial. So what are those things you missed about your father?
Those things, I think I missed everything. I missed his guidance. I am missing his love. I missed his tolerance of my excesses. And I think it's everything.
Our father was a great man. He lived a great and illustrious life. He was a beacon of hope for so many, a traditional icon, a literary, a man of literature, and he had a lot of honors, in his name. And we, the children, are very privileged to have come from him, and we must, continue with the legacy he left behind.
How would you describe our late father?
Baba was an awesome person. I think the last time during his burial, you asked me, I don't know if it was you, but the Cheif TV asked me that, how can I describe it? And I said, he's a lot of things to a lot of people. But to me, he's always been Baba. From the moment we met, I fell in love with him and he fell in love with me. But to other people, he's a historian, he's a chief, he's a politician, he's an elder, he's an advisor, he's a lot of things. But for me, he will always be Baba, my father, his sweet father.
I remember categorically when he founded this body, Castle of Legends Initiative. He ensured that I was part of it. He has always been very passionate about the Nigerian nation, the project Nigeria. Right from the Zikist days, he has been very passionate, a distinguished journalist of no mean repute, and of course a highly placed palace chief.
It's 1 year memorial now. It's 1 year in mind. So what's your take on that?
As how missing, definitely it's like 10 years to some of us. There's nothing as sorrowful when you miss a man who was there for every one of us, not just the children, biological children, but other persons too. With the children, we miss him a lot.
As a nationalist, a patriot, a selfless, true Esogman of the Benin Kingdom that today is called the Oracle. There can never be another Oracle, so we celebrate him. And being the first anniversary of his passing, the Castle of Legends Initiative, in collaboration with the family, decided that today we're going to honor him.
A cultural dinosaur of the Benin Kingdom, a great father. He was my uncle. He was a loving man. He loved his people. He loved his culture. He also played some politics, but not the kind of politics we know.
I have actually not met Dr. Edebiri in person, but I've heard a lot of great things about him. I know that with what I've heard, I will sum up that his legacy embodies that of a great leadership and community service that we all want to uphold in our dear state, Edo State, and Nigeria in general.
The master ceremony officially welcomed everyone into the hall.
He earned himself the name, the Oracle, and he was always on point anytime he speaks. A great historian, an author, as I said before, a journalist. This great man rose and of course was recognized by the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the National Honors OON, Officer of the Order of the Niger. The revered Palace of the Oba of the Inn also recognized this uncommon breed and honored him with the chieftaincy title, one of the highest in the land, the sovereign of the great Benin Kingdom, where the king is truly king. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here to honor the late Chief Dr. David Uyuhumwn Edebiri OON, who left us last year, 2023. Can we, before we proceed, may we all stand to honor this as we begin with a minute of silence in honor of Cheif Uyuhumwn Edebiri OON. may the vibrant, eloquent, easygoing, and of course, beautiful soul of Cheif Uyuhumwn Edebiri continue to rest in perfect peace. You will be seated. And so today, on a day such as this, I am not surprised at the quality of human beings that are gathered here today. The acting president of the University of Benin Student Union government, that's the great college Uyuhumwn President. Can we put our hands together? Great children. Let me hear.
There was an opening prayer.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you. We glorify your holy name. We thank you, Lord, for the life lived by our Father, Cheif Uyuhumn Edebiri, the servant of the kingdom. We thank you for the family he left behind, particularly the children, handsome, pretty, responsible children who are able to carry on the fight he left behind. We thank you for the life of everyone here present. We thank you for our safe journey here. We pray, Lord, that all we shall do today will be dedicated to your holy name, and you will spare us. Hear our prayers, O Lord, for we pray in Jesus' name. Praise the Lord.
The first son of Chief Dr. David Uyuhumwn Edebiri, the person of Reverend Collins Edebiri, gave an opening speech on behalf of the family.
We want to hear from the children of our father that we are here to honor. Reverend Dr. Collins Edebiri will now welcome us formally. Are we welcome here?
The chairman of the occasion, a man who has worked so hard to lift many out of poverty, and my own brother, Dr. Uyuhumwn. My father and our royal father for today, this man, there's no pretense about him. He loves this family. He loved my brother, my father, so greatly. Talking about the Osuma of Benin, our father here today. Thank you very much, sir. Opoke Baba. Opoke. Where's the baby? Of course, the secretary to the state government, who was also the run mate of the governorship candidate of the PDP. If there's anybody that will not take an occasion like this, it was, and it's still a song to the party this summer, to Sarogi, okay, who is represented here by the Director of Protocols Government House, Moses, who is also another second member of the family. And of course, my brother, loyal to the Honour Speaker of the House, very, very committed to his relationship with the family. In fact, he's become a member of the family over the years. Frank Okie, Honourable Frank Okie, thank you. Thank you for being here. I want to thank all of you who have made it to this event. Very prominent people. A lot of Edebiri family represented. You are here. I have my senior brother here, Professor. Is the PROP governorship candidate. You are welcome. I see the Boots candidate also here. If my dad was still alive today, and you all know that, all of the governorship candidates would have been going to his place. They will be going to that shrine of the oracle to take their medicine. Everybody will have been going there and coming out of there, going there and coming out of there.
This is what death can do. You know, as I was going through that is courtyard yesterday, the inner court, I shook my head. I just said to myself, governorship election is not to happen in the state. Nobody has come into this court. Just think about Baba being alive. Anyone that didn't go there would be blaming himself that he has put himself in a position not to win the election. And you remember that time he got his name, the oracle has spoken. And once he spoke, that was the end of the matter. As head of the family, I've decided to be non-aligned. If I'm openly aligned, it will cause a lot of commotion in me. Where will I pitch myself? Is it PRP, Good Party, Labour, APC? They are all my friends. They are my friends, that's the truth. There's been a lot of pressure on me to say, just come out. Endorse me. I cannot endorse any candidates. I have taken the position that I found out I'm taking at this time. The one that has the interest of the good people, that means well to lift our people out of poverty, is the one that I will pray for. And when I pray closer to that election, I will speak the oracles with God. And I want to believe that everybody that listens will know that the oracle indeed has spoken. I want to use the opportunity to say thank you for standing by us as a family. And please continue to stay with us. Together we can carry on the vision of our Father. Tomorrow will be the real celebration. Let me again invite everybody to the house tomorrow at 12 so that we can do the things that we need to do to keep the memory of our Father alive. Thank you for listening to me and welcome to this very important occasion.
There was breaking of the kola nuts.
It's over regularly.
Barrister Akpata arrived at the venue with his entourage.
I would not like to thank the responsible the people who did their speech. Not the government who did their speech. I thought of it, I didn't have to read it. Okay, I think I will look over here. This place is for candidates. Okay, that's fine. We are close to the only thing we can do. That's the PRO candidate by itself. Okay, rest of us, who can assist? I'd like us to welcome Barrister Uyuhumwn Edebiri OON, the candidate of Labour Party and the forthcoming election in the district. It is popularly called Uyuhumwn. All right.
The Secretary of Council of Legends Initiative, Koli, read an address.
I need you to call on Dr. Phil Ugodaga to come and deliver the very brief welcome address on behalf of the Council of Legends Initiative.
Our leader of the Esogan family, the Edebiri family, because in his lifetime, the Esogan took me as one of his non-biological sons, and the College Edebiri will attest to that. The representative of the Anambra, please, Mr. Chairman, permit me to stand on the existing protocol. The Vice President of the Council of Legends Initiative, Prince Julius Ahanoma, after making very extensive preparation in collaboration with the family for this event, is unfortunately out of the country, and he sent this address. I should read it on his behalf. So while you'll be hearing my voice, the thoughts here are those of Prince Julius Ahanoma. So I'll go ahead to read his welcome address on behalf of the Council of Legends Initiative. It is with humility, mingled with joy and delight, that I welcome you all to this ceremony on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the entire members of the Council of Legends Initiative, COLI for short, which was initiated, guided, protected, and nurtured by Chief Dr. Uyuhumwn Edebiri OON for almost a decade before his transition on the 20th of July 2023. We therefore wholeheartedly welcome all of you to this occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, without seeking to sound too emotional and sentimental, I am glad I grew up in Nigeria, where people unreservedly sought to contribute their whole selves, devoted their whole life to the struggle against imperialism, determined to free their people, not only from the yoke of foreign domination, but even more recently from the shackles of military oligarchy. They dared the British and the Nigerian dictatorship and suffered the consequences of long-term imprisonment, abuses, and in some cases banishment and house arrest. Yet, they remained undaunted and persisted in their struggle. Some of them remained afloat, and their name became part of the general knowledge, such as Sir Albert Macaulay, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Chief Atoni Enahu, Nwankwo Okoye, Osita Aguna, Tanko Yakasai, Michael Imodu, Uwanzulike Amechi, Chief Latif Jankode, and of course, our own very Chief Uyuhumwn Edebiri OON, just to measure a few. Yet, there are several others who remain unsung and died in abject poverty and obscurity. Several of them never got the deserved honor of national immortalization that ought to have accorded them as nationalists. Compared by these realities, under the admirable leadership of Chief Dr. D.U. Edebiri OON, we floated the organization Council of Leaders Initiative to bridge the gap and to give honor to whom honor is due. The Council of Leaders Initiative only is a non-political, non-religious, non-ethnic, non-governmental and non-profit making organization whose membership spans the business world, traditional institution and the academy. The objective includes to honor people who have rendered significant service to our country and humanity, promote and encourage acts of heroism, preserve, promote and protect culture of exemplary leadership and community service, secure and propagate the works and materials of heroes past and present, organize programs to celebrate heroic deeds of Nigerians at all levels, regardless of ethnic, social, or political affiliation. And finally, to serve as a research center and organize lecture series in honor of legends dead and alive. And incidentally, today we are honoring our founder, Chief Dr. D.U. Edebiri. Today's event is a memorial lecture organized by the entire family of Chief Dr. Edebiri OON, the Isoga of Benin Kingdom, and the Council of Leaders Initiative. The title of today's lecture is Towards the Government of the People, by the People, and for the People, the Nigerian Perspective. There will also be the unveiling of the Mausoleum, launching of Memorial Art Gallery at the Isoga Palace tomorrow. We sincerely hope that you will enjoy to fullness the programs that have been outlined for this occasion as we seek to go down memory lane to reinvigorate and energize our present, the future effort toward the realization of a better tomorrow. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Council of Leaders Initiative, I welcome you all most sincerely to this event. Thank you for forsaking all your personal engagement to honor our education. We are indeed very grateful and we appreciate your presence. I cannot leave here without saying something to my constituency and the former student activists and saying, Mr. President and the Civil Society Committee, Mr. President, the rest of this very now, great children, greatest Bobo, greatest Papa. Thank you very much.
The chairman of the occasion, the founder of Live Above Poverty, LAPO, made his remark.
The chairman of the occasion, who is the commander-in-chief of this occasion, will now take full charge. Dr. Godwin Yamusoy, chairman and founder, Live Above Poverty Organization.
I only know that I'm the chairman, whether I'm the commander and this doubting. I want to say that I'm really delighted to be here. Permit me obviously to skip the protocol because I feel that it has been firmly established by the early speakers. I am delighted when I think I'm also very proud to play this role, this for a number of reasons. The first one is that we are here to celebrate a man and an icon who has made so much contributions to the development of this nation at the various stages of his life. The second reason is that I am his son. Let me use the present. And of course, I do know that we have many of us who are here today. Mine tend to be a bit special because I do not know whether he called you the other sons the way he will call me. he will say, my son. So I think that is special. But speaking seriously, we are here to honor a prominent Nigerian, an eminent Edoman, and of course a great chief of the great Benin Kingdom. As we also know, he was a man of many parts, a nationalist. Not just as when we have you were not just a nationalist, more like a militant one that truly shook the colonialists. He was also a politician. We also know that. And actually, as the brother said, and we should also know, he transformed into an oracle that every serious-minded politician in this state must consult. Beyond that, he was a cultural icon, a very prolific writer. I do know that he has over 11 quality publications to his name. Know that. What I know was that few months before he left us, I acquired two copies of every of his publications. And I can tell you that at my library at home, that is a great treasure. I will also quickly to add that we had a very personal relationship. It started about 17 years ago. In Lapo, we met strongly in 2007. That after about 20 years of providing loans to women in urban economy, we needed to make microfinance relevant to agriculture. And so we came up with what we call Lapo Agricultural and Rural Development Initiative. It was to be launched in 94. The then Commissioner for Agriculture has agreed to be with us. And one of my colleagues said I should approach the Esogan to be our chief, our guest of honor. And I went. Just a few minutes into my letting him know what we do at Lapo, and more importantly, what we wanted to do, he was not only agreeing to be at the event, he was really excited, and he was there. And since then, has been a great supporter of what you do. I cannot think of any of our occasions he never attended. Even when we commissioned the Benin Medical Care facility in Benin. So, me, I'm indebted to him. But we are here to also honor his memory. I think we have a sort of a set form of responsibility to him. To keep his values, to keep his ideas alive. And one of them, obviously, is this event. It is for that reason I want to sincerely thank the organizer of this occasion. I want to say thank you for doing that. But the other dimension of what we can do to keep his memory alive, to ensure that we keep his ideas of courage, of forthrightness, of nationality, of commitment to improving the life of the people, is that all of us, especially those who are in the space of governance or who are desiring to be there, we need to see how we can transform this idea to better life for our people. I can tell you, in several moments of reflection I had with him, I must tell you clearly that our father was paying. He was paying because of the failure of the Nigerian nation to live or realize the expectations, the potentials, the hope of himself and his colleagues who fought for this, the independence we had. There are two areas we will always discuss, and these two areas, he felt strongly that the Nigerian elites in and outside the government have betrayed our people. And these two areas are education and healthcare. And of course, we do know that these are what you refer to as the core social services, things that impact the quality of life of the people. The reality we have of ground today, that as critical as education, to a large extent, the provision of education services has been abdicated to the private without finding and statistical analysis. It will be safe to say that over 65% of educational services today are provided by actors private sector. Yes, they have done well, but the reality is that when private sector gets into a space like education, it could be purely mercantile. It becomes a case of investment and expectations of returns. And when we do that, that has implication for the quality of education. He was really very particular about this. The second thing was the area of healthcare. Recently, we had stories that many Nigerians, several Nigerians, died of cholera. By the way, in Development Palace, another name for cholera is National Disgrace Disease. It is called National Disgrace Disease because it is easily preventable. I mean, it's just a matter of access to clean water and sanitation. So if you therefore have nations where you have cholera still killing people, then it calls for concern. I want to also put it on record when you talk about water. I grew up in Uyuhumwn. Uyuhumwn is the headquarters of WODED now. It was not then. In 1970, that should be about 54 years ago, Uyuhumwn has clean water works that provided well-treated clean water to the community. I remember when we were coming from school and we get to the tap, you put your mouth drinking, two things. He rushes very forcefully and he will give you the chlorine treatment set. Though I do not think that we have that today. That was 54 years ago. And of course, it is a bit becoming very difficult for our children to understand when you talk about pipe bore water. Don't blame them. We are in the era of borehole, where people are consuming water that are never treated, untreated water, and that has the implication for our health status. But I'm saying this because I think these are areas he expressed his concern, and I share those concerns with him. It is our responsibility, especially the elites, and especially political elites. We must look at areas where we should. It is not a rocket science. It is not about the resources, which I think we do have. It is about commitment, as if our father was committed to better life for our people. And having said this, I want to join the family to welcome all of you. I believe that after the robust discussions, we should be able to at least come up with points, issues, younger people, and to be convinced that there is need for us to do much for our people. I want to say thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much, the chairman of this occasion. He has set the tone. Of course, if government should really be of the people, by the people and for the people, what happened?
Dr. Osaige made a speech on the stand of the organizer on democracy in Edo and Nigeria at large.
We have members of the great Edebiri family, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I thank you for being part of this celebration. And I congratulate the organizers for the thing towards a government of the people, by the people, and for the people of Nigeria. It's a question that is being posed to us. Exactly how? How do we get the people of Nigeria to manage the affairs of Nigeria for the benefit of Nigerian people? This task is not by some of the people, for the benefit of some of the people, but all of the people. Not only the males, not only the women, not only the old or the young, whether you subscribe to any religion or not. If you do, irrespective of the religion you subscribe to. We don't care about your ethnicity. Whether you constitute half of the population of Nigeria, the 100 million, or whether you are only a few 100,000. We are talking about equality. Whether you are rich or poor. How do we get Nigeria to be run in a way that will benefit? Now, what is the purpose? I dare say that the purpose is to wipe away poverty. I'm seriously flattered to have my brother here, who was concerned on several of these occasions, concerned enough about this issue, that he set up an organization, LACO, Leads above poverty organization. Can we please give me a round of applause? Now, this issue is particularly important because Nigeria, our Nigeria, is presently the poverty capital of the world. Yes. We have overtaken India. How do we administer Nigeria to put an end to this? You cannot be talking about ending poverty when you do not abolish unemployment. We post about our figures. Approximately 250 million. How can you have this number of persons who are idle? You want to wipe away poverty? You either give all of them jobs or be prepared to pay unemployment benefits. If you cannot do this, you have no business in government. If you are a government that chooses to pay unemployment benefits rather than creating jobs, that's your business. But to wipe away poverty in Nigeria, you either provide full employment or be prepared to pay unemployment benefits. We cannot wipe away illiteracy from Nigeria, cannot wipe away poverty. When you have these hundreds of millions of people that cannot read or write, they are not imbued with the benefit of what happened before their time. They are not equipped with skills. How do you expect them to serve Nigeria? So we say, when you provide free education, you are not doing the children a favor. You are simply equipping them to be able to serve, to produce. We did it before. Why are we not doing it now? So the enjoyment of this right is not our reality in Nigeria. It is the difference between law in the books and the enjoyment of these laws in practice. Historically, you know, so I think it's the master of ceremony. I told you that I'm taking too long, but I'm trying to correct it. I don't know whether it was the revision of the chairman. In pre-colonial times, before the white man came, when we had monarchy, the monarchs were there first and foremost to favor their families and their friends. Yes, it's founded on favoritism to have fight for their rights. The colonial government that we had existed to service their foreign government and their foreign companies. They were administering our country to realize under military rule. It was unquestionable arbitrariness. Head of state did what he liked. And now, what we are under is civil rule, not democracy. It is government of the politicians, for the politicians, by the politicians. had is that there has always been resistance. You can find out the history of Uyuhumwn, a lady in Obilaka. He said of Udekon is Azako. We have always had warriors that refuse to allow arbitrariness and oppression of the masses, even in pre-colonial times. During colonial times, of course, you know about our elder, Anthony Yenano, the man we are celebrating today, Jesus Christ himself, and the Sikhs as a movement. At the continental level, of course, from Uyuhumwn, they refuse to allow that colonial abuse of our rights and our resources, rather than for servicing foreign governments and their companies. So how can you waste your right to vote to decide who will serve you in a way that will abolish poverty from Nigeria? Our message to our people is that we must ensure that we don't waste that right to vote. Vote for the best. Look at people's antecedents. Look at their vision. Measure it whether or not they will come close to the Nigeria of the dream. So we have a duty to combat rigging. Are we helpless? Oh, we are not helpless. And then most importantly, I'm talking about dealing with this. Election is one thing, but in between elections, we have a right to participate in the formulation of policies by those we have elected. Not only in the formulation, but in the implementation, as well as the review of performance. It looks like we have yielded that space. So once we elect people into office, they just carry on as they wish. We in Koli are building a house. We call that house the Castle of Legends. To honor our legends, to show them that we are inspired by their example. This is our honor to someone here. That's why we are here today. We invite you to join us to bring about in Nigeria the government and the people, for the people, and by the people. I know that we have some candidates here. The question to you is this: who is that candidate who is prepared to throw open the budget making process, so that our people can join in setting the priorities? Bola did not by himself dig the most. He had an idea to fully open the master in Palestine. Who is that politician here, that candidate, who is prepared to consult the people in the formulation of policies? Dr. Simon Abedi, he was the leader of all doctors worldwide in formulating health policies in the state like ours. We need even more than to consult. We are keeping the best brains out of the process, because we want to create business opportunities for minorities. This is what is standing in the way of abolition of poverty. As far as we are concerned, ladies and gentlemen, Chairman, this is what dignity democracy calls for in this time. Best wishes from all of us. Thank you very much.
The acting president of Uyuhumwn Student Union made a remark.
Mr. Chairman, permit me to stand on existing protocol, sir. Okay. Honorable guests, esteemed dignitaries, and my fellow students, it's an honor to stand before you today as a representative of the students of the University of Benin to pay tribute to the legacy of Cheif Dr. David Edebiri, a statesman and leader who embodied the principles of democracy and selfless service. As we gather to celebrate his life and legacy, we are reminded of the power of visionary leadership and the importance of democratic governance in shaping our collective future. Chief David Edebiri's life was a testament to the transformative power of education, hard work, and dedication. From humble beginnings to becoming a renowned scholar, administrator, and traditional leader, his journey inspires us to strive for excellence and make a positive impact in our communities. As students, we are actively aware of challenges facing our country. We are aware of the need for a government that is truly of the people, by the people, and for the people. A government that prioritizes education, healthcare, economic opportunities, and social justice. A government that is transparent, accountable, and inclusive. We need a government that recognizes the potential of its youth and empowers them to reach their life potential. A government that creates opportunities for economic growth and development. As we approach the gubernatorial election in Edo State, we urge all candidates to commit to these principles. We urge them to engage us, to listen to our concerns, and to prioritize our welfare. We demand a government that is responsive to our needs, a government that is accountable to the people, and that which prioritizes the common goal. Let us work together to be the government that truly serves the people, that which empowers us to reach our full potential. Let us honor the legacy of Chief Dr. David Edebiri by building a Nigeria that is just, equitable, and prosperous for all. Thank you very much.
One of the gubernatorial candidates of Edo State's election, Barrister Olumide Akpata of Labour Party, addressed the audience on what he will do for Edo people if elected as governor.
I'm grateful for the opportunity, grateful to the organizers for letting me speak here today. Speaking to the team, it sits right very well with me because I belong to the Labour Party. If you look at our logo, you have Papa, Mama, Pikin. We are for people-centric, people-focused, people-impacting programs. I think that the Nigerian people, I think what comes to mind when I think of our people is what they call Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome. That very famous kidnapping that took place in Sweden many years ago, when the kidnappee was very reluctant to leave her kidnapper because she had fallen in love with the kidnapper. Nigerian people have fallen in love with their captors. Nigerian people have fallen in love with those people who call themselves leaders. We are the victims of serial failure in leadership. The fish rots from the head. The fish rots from the head. And we are now suffering from analysis paralysis. I am tired of talking. I was in Uyuhumwn on Saturday. Abulu has not had electricity for 10 years. 10 years. There have been 2 elections in those 10 years. And they voted for the same people. election number 3 is coming, and I said to them, into your hands. What do you want to do? Politics has been monetized, poverty has been weaponized. So you find the people, they know what they want, but they are able to get what they want. They are held captive. What is a good government? The litmus test is people-oriented policies and programs. How can we still be talking about power in 2024? Income profile of Edo State, 16 billion a month. Not the beans, not the mama, not the corn. Now money. Our debt profile is heading towards 600 billion. We have to put, the reason why I'm in politics, ladies and gentlemen, is to put people back at the center of politics and government. I could have stayed in my comfort zone, but we must return people back to the center of politics and government. The classic definition of democracy, it is not a coincidence that the word people is mentioned 3 times. That's the definition that we bandy around for the people, of the people, by the people. But in Nigeria, it is for anything but the people. As Dr. Uyuhumwn has already alluded to here today. Thank you. So let us stop complaining. Let us go to the polls. We saw what happened in this town, in this city yesterday. It's just a precursor. It's a teaser of what is to come. Because those who are the helm of affairs are hell-bent that they will continue to hold on to power. And it's now a life or death matter. As Dr. Uyuhmwn has told us, we have always had resistance. From the days of yore till now, we must resist. Power does belong to the people. You must take power back. Labour Party, we have had only one governor, and he's been in office for only 1 year. There's light in our back. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. Professor Naji was the promoter of that project, geometry. Serial governors of that state, PDP, failed to make that thing work. In 1 year, Dr. Alexoti has made it work. Agri International Market is working, open for business. Just last week, that same governor took £1 billion, put it on the table, gave it to market people and artisans. Come and take interest-free loans so that you can go and do your business. Governance is for the people. Like Dr. Uyuhmwn said, it cannot be a top-down. Thank you. I'm closing now. It cannot be a top-down. You cannot claim to know everything that the people want. You must stop. I will open the budgeting process will be transparent. It will be absolutely transparent. Nothing to hide. It is about the people. So, ladies and gentlemen, now we're hand in you. Now we're hand in you. If you are falling in love with your captors and you want them to continue to rape you, no. It is entirely up to us, up to you. We will do our part. We will stand guard. We will make sure that your votes will be protected. Nobody will come and snatch your ballot box. We will not come here upon the bridge. Just do what you need to do. Enthrone proper leadership. Put proper leadership there and hold them accountable. I thank you all.
Thank you. And we need to remember to say and vote me.
The gubernatorial candidate of PRP also addressed the audience on how he will fix Edo State if elected.
Yeah, my name is Patience in the law for Reiki. Somebody might ask why Reiki? My mom is from Delta State, it's a great honor for me to be here today to celebrate with us the main lecture of Chief Dr. Edebiri. Man and body with great leadership and community service. I do not really know him personally or have any relationship with him prior now, but I remember that in the United States I belong to the Edo group, the the DMV, Washington DC, Maryland, Virginia, that's the Edo group I belong to. So when the oracle passed, remember I was talking about it and all that, I had to read up on him. Never knowing that I'll be invited to be speaking, and his maiden lecture. So that's really good. Following the theme of today, towards the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. This is a very great one. For me, leadership is about the people. This very phrase was immortalized by Abraham Lincoln during the American Civil War. This is indeed the very essence of democracy. Everything is about the people because people are the greatest assets that we have. And when the people are not nourished, when the people are not taken care of, when the people are not given the opportunity to thrive, then we begin to experience what we experience in Nigeria now: crime, poverty, unemployment, and the likes. Looking at the Nigerian context, we need to ask ourselves some questions. Using this thing to scrutinize the structure of governance that we have here. Does it speak to the will of the people? Is it accessible? The structure of governance we have in Nigeria, is it accessible? Is it transparent? And does it speak for equity? For us to be able to move forward as a people and as a nation, we must look into inclusive political process. A process that is fair and transparent. A process that is simplified and give access to the people, to all citizens, irrespective of your class, your gender, your economic status, your social status, so that the nation can move forward. Secondly, decentralization is very, very important. We need to begin to look into our local communities, giving opportunity to our local governments, so that the local things, local communities, can be funded and administration effective. Very, very important. We also need to look into strengthening our institutions. Not institutions that are influenced by political activities, our judicial system, our anti-corruption bodies, our civil service. These systems should speak as true custodians of public trust, because that is exactly what they are meant to do. Again, and another, we have to look into civic engagement, civic education and engagement. Our people need to be educated. They need to be educated to know their rights, their civic rights and responsibility, so that our economy can thrive. We need that open hand for the people, like the team says. The last but not the least, we need to begin to intentionally and deliberately leverage technology for governance, where there can be transparency and accountability. Very, very important. Where the people will know the activities and the expenditures of the government. Where we know where our monies are going and all those good things. And my administration works closely with the Buhari's administration. Be it Edebiri, Mohammed, Sibanjo, and the rest of it. We come home several times a year to provide solutions, to give blueprints of how we can move forward. I also had the opportunity in one of our meetings with Buhari to see my state governor, which talking about human trafficking, and we wanted to do something. So, talking to these people, I had to understand that people are not actually valued. You say one thing and for the other years. And we keep talking about this. Who's going to build the tax? Who's going to do this work? So many of us on Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, all the social media talking and booking and all that. Who is actually going to do this job? And that was what brought me to leadership. That's what brought me into governance, and by the grace of God, I contested for president in 2023 in the same PRP People's Redemption Party. And now I see the great opportunity to begin to serve from home. Edo is a great land. Edo Polo, we are too much. So, I'm in leadership because I see the hunger and anger in present of my brothers and sisters, my fathers, my fellow Edo indigenous. I see poverty all over the place. I was born in Benin City. I went to Exotic Primary School, not too far from here, now I went to St. Maria Goretti. I graduated from Ambrose University. So I know my environment. When I see progression and regression, I know it. When I see things going backward, I understand it. Because I was born in this environment. I grew up in this environment. The better part of my life and development is in Edo State. So I'm well over 17 years in the United States and I'm tired. Because I've come to understand that our talent and our resources build this so-called first world. You make them and they call you the developing world. Our brother and father just talked about us, being called the poverty capital of the world. That is mind-boggling. That is annoying. Nigeria is the best of the best country on the surface of this earth. All 16 people. The big problem we have is good leadership. We have no leadership, and that is why we are suffering. This year, this election comes September 21, 2024. We need to shine our eyes. We need to open our hearts. We need to do the right thing for you, for yourself, for all of us, so we can begin to move forward. Because we have all that it takes. We cannot make mistakes on the election for our own good. So we can create poverty, create jobs by industrializing our state, using the talent and the resources we have to make.
Thank you. Put your hands together for this vibrant woman.
The gubernatorial candidate of APGA addressed the audience.
Now, the governorship candidate of APGA, All Progressive Grand Alliance, is Honorable Dr. Isaiah Osifo.
I stand on the existing protocol to represent Honorable Dr. Isaiah Osifo, the APGA governorship candidate who is unavoidably absent because of some other engagements outside Benin City. He has asked me to greet the Edebiri family very specially. He has asked me to also say that this occasion is worthwhile to celebrate a legend that has passed on. And a Doman will say, today we are celebrating a royal father who, of course, left legacies behind. If I ask how many of those living today can ever dare to have the legacy competence of our royal father of blessed memory? We did well to contribute fabulously to the development of the cultural value of this kingdom. His political exploits can be affirmed. Like the Reverend Dr. Collins Edebiri said, and I listened to him very well, that no politician will miss going to his course when running a race. Yes, I was privileged to be there some time ago. That was sometime before the presidential election in this dispensation. He received us very well, spoke with us. In fact, his counsel is superb. The oracle has spoken. Yes. Any candidate supported by our late royal father won election. And I can tell you why, sir. It was because a man like him will sit down to consider the credibility of a candidate. And that was why he was always successful picking a candidate, supporting a candidate, and that candidate winning an election. Hello, Bufalo. Hello, Igbo. The problem we have today in this country, in this state, when it comes to having good governance by good leaders, is just because they are many of the state so-called kingmakers. They have also made the mistake of having a square peg in a square hole, because they will not consider the credibility of a candidate. Very unfortunate. Yes, my principal, the other candidate, Dr. Alaya Osipo, his manifestos, I can tell you, will lift the states beyond this level. We are talking of democracy, a government by the people, for the people, and by the people. Today, without missing words, I can say that those who are on the stage now, their antecedents have given a different meaning to democracy, has given a different definition of democracy. By the grace of God, the other candidate who, by God's special grace and the collective will of the dumb people, considering his past antecedents, is going to drive away hunger from this land. He's a university lecturer and he's a farmer. He has plans. He's a young farmer. And he has plans about that. But he's going to pursue agriculture vigorously, such that those days when we were in secondary school, when we were taught agricultural science, we were told that yes, government can always have farm first in the agricultural farm and all that. But today, why is it that our leaders are not thinking about agriculture? Agriculture has been so neglected. Ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you, a vote for Dr. Cheif will not be wasted. A vote for him will add meaning to the life of people of the state. A vote for him will remove most of our youth from the street. I plead with us, I beg us this time around, consider credibility, consider intelligence, consider knowledgeability. A man who has been in the business is not a stranger in it. Now, this is not the time to give the chance to those who are just coming from nowhere. People who are going to live with you, they don't know the time of the state. No courage. Whatever you want to do there.
Another governorship candidate delivered his speech.
But I tried to serve Nigeria is not my cause. And then I went forward to write this. That I tried to Nigeria actual problem, practical solutions. And there's not only a text with this series that I tried that I would have tried to address to Nigeria in the country. To which Nigeria with the same person that is not an ordinary man on the street, to which Nigeria with the same Nigerian. And let this all and all reality. This is what we see today. It's a hard time to live. So Also, I wrote this, I sack the wicked Cheif revolutionist. Sir, permit me to make this presentation, please. So now, let me go ahead to tell you, by the grace, I'm from a low my dad is from out there, from Uyuhumwn in this West government. My mom is Yoruba, I school in Kano, my wife is Igbo, so I speak Hausa, I speak Yoruba, I speak Islam. And I speak English, nobody is speaking English. So all I want to make you understand that we have been thinking very, very deeply about this country. And for President Buhari say this, the meaning of Bush party, Bush means because of our tomorrow. Some persons in the diaspora, our chairman is in UK, and people that form the party. And when they sat down to see that things are not working, people are just doing service in the name of politics and all that. That's why they put together this body. And in the 2019, they give license. So last the show, our first shot at the general elections. Now, by God's grace, I'm the state chairman of that political party, and equally the secretary of the umbrella body of all political parties in the region called IPAC. So, if I'm talking to you, I'm talking from a very informed position. Now, sir, you ask, what do we have for the people? Please, these are my manifesto. For those of you in the cannot send it all over the but I don't tell you. Our political agenda is simply tied to elevate Edo. Elevate what? Edo. And what does elevate Edo mean? Each of those words have meaning. The E means efficacious electricity. People say that by God's grace and mercy, I studied mechanical engineering. I'm studying university from 2003. And because I discovered that I have play for the pen, I'm taking 8 books and the program, and I'm only working on 3. So I read, the first one is titled Efficacious Electricity. I do agree in my book, to that I get not by force, that if we are able to fix power in this country, more than 50% of our projects are over. And what does it take to fix power? It's not rocket science. I did a comparative study of the 10 most populous countries in the world from reports I got from CIA. And sadly, by all ramifications, Nigeria is the poorest. But it's not rocket science. It's not, people don't have the will to make this thing work. So, electricity education will be constantly going. It must be constantly available, it must be constantly imported, it must be constantly available, and it must be affordable. What is telling me? I have my office in the shopping complex in Benin, and we used to pay 1.something million naira before the mandate of came in. And for 1.something million, we take it up to 3.something million naira. And for the past 3 months now, we're doing that in that company. So how do you put it that you can expect the economy to work? It's not possible. The next one out there is landmark infrastructure. Listen, Edo State is blessed with what it takes to produce cement. And what I intend to do differently? I'm going to set up a factory owned by the state that produces cement. Now, what is the beauty of having such agriculture? Number one, you know that as an engineer, I can clearly tell you that roads constructed with concrete is cheaper, more durable, and faster to construct than the one you use the asphalt to use. So if we have a simple factory, rather than dashing into some bourgeois that are ready to fund elections at all costs, we can have all the local governments in these days having excellent tools. And also, I school in a secondary school in Kano. But after when I went to Kano, I could not believe my eyes because there were overhead bridge every and again. There is no traffic. This issue of I let people go and tell people, I've been in the city for more than 20 years now, ever since I finished NYSC. And people don't know the strong people have on their own because there is because the affair is not carrying from one place to another. But you have bridges you here and there. The affair can carry from any part of the region to your Lord's place. This can be done. I don't know how in the state. So we're going to let me just quickly rush through what we want to do. L means landmark infrastructure. E means heritage education. V means validating our security network and response. It is one thing about security, is about to be able to respond fast to security challenges. The next is appealing and addressing agriculture. I wonder how many of these are big men with big hole and cutlass to their youth, to their children these days and ask them to do farm. But there are modern ways we can ahead of the world. Cloud seeding, cloud, S-E-E-D-I-N-G. The simple technology that comes in Arab countries and all, they will just take aeroplane into the air and move around and then will begin to fall. How many of our farmers have planted their land because they expect it and they won't plant it? These are things are not of science. And it pains me when people are just busy making stories like, taking us many decades backward. The next level then is transforming and mineral resources. I don't say the place belong with mineral resources. At their own states, they work very, very little. Why can't we establish a lot of factories that will provide employment for our youth and also get us serious revenue? In the field of Nigeria, the next level then is exemplary and affordable healthcare. Why can't we have standard hospitals in all the local government headquarters and employ competent hands to run the government? The next level then is empowerment of youth and children. When I was a kid, I used to hear people say up and down, up and down, up and down. Why they shout up and down those who do this? Because people from this soil, academically, they were top notch. In terms of sports, they were very, very good. Two of us. So why don't we redirect our youth into these things? Why don't we make them to become to invest, make them have focus them on sports, on IT, on technology, and in vision. The next one there is is deeply fight against corruption and reckless spending of public funds. Deeply fight against corruption and reckless spending of public funds. Why should somebody was appointed local government chairman some days ago in Rivers State and appointed 100 SAs to the office of the chairman in road? That is crazy. That is madness. That is wicked spending of public funds. So if you really know what to do, you keep your company. That's why you came out in the first place. You don't need to look at yourself all the investors in this world going to be your work. Then last year we have organized private school, public partnership. There is no how state fund alone can transform society as this. You need to get people that have the fund. You make them invest and make a shift the state to have a good share of the investment. It's a partnership. And we will make sure that the interest, the present and future interest of the dollar is captured before such deals are seen. So I want to tell you that we will not have all the monies of the big political class, but I tell you, we have the praise, we have the mind, we have the fear of God to transform a state and elevate a state to the highest quality.
Member of Nigerian Nurses Association made his speech. One of the participants responded to the addresses.
Ready to talk to us, but they will be taking only 2 minutes. It's a goodwill message. There will not be lecture, just goodwill message. And the secretary to government, the government of Edo State, will also be giving this goodwill message. But permit me to welcome a man from the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, who will talk from where he's talking. Listen, Choko Ekum Francis, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. The chairman of the mission, other members of the high table, the audience here, I thank God Almighty for the opportunity to be here. Actually, I had to come from Abuja to attend this program against my family. And I am also grateful to the families of Chief Dr. David Edebiri and also Castle of Legend Initiative for organizing this program. I join you in the celebration. I want to conclude by saying that all the family members and the friends of the late Etoba of Benin should endeavor to pursue and practice the ideas and the values of their father who has gone to the grave. God bless you.
Thank you. Can you put your hands together for him? He's just hit the nail on the head. The representative of Igbo Community Union in Edo State. Igbo Kwenu! Igbo people came here, so. Igbo Kwenu! Where's Kwenu? Barrister Cheif Kingsley of Sweke will now give his good message.
Thank you very much. The chair of the occasion, other protocols duly observed. Because of time, I wouldn't want to go into the background of how this topic came about, but the topic today is a very sensitive one. Well, I bring you greetings from Igbo Community Union, Edo State. My chairman asked me to greet the family of Edebiri. Now, on this topic today, when my learned senior, Dr. Sagobai was talking, there was a question he asked, which I would like to provide some solutions to that question. I'm not going to take time. That question he asked is this: how do we get good governance in Nigeria? How do we get good governance? Now, if we must get good governance in Nigeria, number one, we must have independent judiciary. Nigerians must continue to champion, must continue to advocate for judiciary to be what? Truly independent. Without independent judiciary, there cannot be good governance. Independence of the judiciary very, very pivotal to deepening democracy and to ensuring good governance. When I was praying officer, if anybody, if you offend the other party and the other party says, I'm taking this matter to court, in fact, the other party will be shivering, trembling. Okay, please come, let us settle this matter amicably. But today, the oppressors will oppress you and still have the guts to tell you, if you are not satisfied, go to court. Why is that? Because the judiciary today, we cannot only say is independent. So we must continue to advocate for independence of the judiciary. Again, we must demand the accountability from those that we have elected into office. You cannot just elect somebody to an office and then what he or she does, you are not concerned. You must demand accountability. Ask the person to render account of the office you have elected into. Free and fair election. We must continue to champion, continue to advocate for free and fair election. Because it is through free and fair election that we can get good leaders. But a situation where after the people have exercised their rights, their franchise, then the electoral body, the powers that be, will now subvert the people's way in the ballot box. I mean, that is very, very disheartening. So Nigerians must continue to champion for independent, for free and fair election. Then, press freedom. We must continue to advocate, to champion for press freedom. A situation where journalists are arrested in the course of doing their legitimate business and unlawfully imprisoned is something we must speak against. It's something that must not continue. If we must get good governance, the journalists must be allowed to do their legitimate business of reporting government activities. So, press freedom, very, very pivotal to ensuring good governance. Again, we must demand respect for fundamental human rights. Those who have elected into office, they must respect our fundamental rights. If we must have good governance, okay, then we must stop voting transactional politicians. Nigerians, a lot of us, the election is coming in Edo State, right? There are some of us here. When people come to campaign, except they drop money on our table, we will not vote for them. In fact, they are not serious. I mean, that is transactional politics. Through transactional politics, you cannot get good governance. Because transactional politicians are only concerned of what we enter their pocket and not about the people. And finally, because of time, we must avoid chronic psychopathy. Chronic what? Psychopathy. I read an article, somebody wrote sometime, the thriving industry of psychopathy in Nigeria. A lot of us are prone to chronic psychopathy. People that were elected, they did not do well and you know it, but a lot of us are bound to very praise singers. We now applaud incompetence. We now applaud mediocrity. So if we must get good governance, Nigerians must avoid what? Chronic psychopathy. Because of time, I will stop here. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you. You were so much on point. I must say thank you very much. Now, one of the closest friends to the man we are celebrating, our father we are celebrating here today, he wants to say something, good message for just 2 minutes to this occasion. Reverend Amada Sofa. Good message. Can we put our hands together?
Praise the Lord. The chairman, sir, I stand in the protocol. All we have been saying since, first, let me congratulate you, colleagues, and your siblings, all of you, for this arrangement that you have done for Papa. All that we have been saying since, all the politicians have been saying since, are all contained in the Papa's ways of living. He has done all this. He has brought everybody together. The beautiful thing is that when they come and talk all these beautiful things, the day they enter, the door is shut. You cannot get there. The protocol. First SSA, second SSA, chief of protocol, security, DSS. You can't get there. So we thank you for coming to say all these things. We have heard you. The only problem is that our people are still very poor. It's poverty that our doctor said before that is worrying us. It's not good the money. Because they say, black government, the work, it is very true. All they get there, you don't see them again. Be that is as it may be now, let me talk about my father. It's not your father alone. I'm your elder brother. I'm the senior to one of you children. I met Papa 1969, very well, when I joined the additional union. All I knew for this time. I didn't know that I'm related to him. It was recently, when we were doing some anniversary of his father here, that one of my aunties, he said, Joseph, he said, do you know that Papa is original? I said, no, I thought it's my father in the He said, no. Then I asked Papa, am I related to you? He said, yes. He said, my father was away, was the head of the Okai boy when we were burying my grandfather, George Aredo. I said, Papa, you didn't tell me all this on the day. He said, well, we are a small boy. So that's by the way. We need to call him Ayere. That's the name we gave him in Arizona. That's the inventor. He will always invent one thing and it will stand. For example, he brought this idea of caring for the aged, which were the president has said, caring for the people, whether old or new, aged. When Oshodi then in Lagos State, when Oshodi died, Adesofumo made his soul who said he's our father. And this one was caring for him. And so many other aged people who will attend all the ceremonies, who will make it so strong. And this one, when they are coming, everybody, oh, this is one of the children, Papa will go with us. Then after that, he introduced women's football. He brought it to Nigeria. All these things he are saying now. And then really brought all these things. Women's football. On one occasion, our royal father, the one before this one, Ejawa as crown prince was the referee in one of the matches we played. In no stadium here, and they really organized all these things. He brought people together. What has he not done? Politicians go to him for advice. He will tell you the truth. Now let me tell you about my own personal experience with him. When my wife died, Mr. Soul rested in peace. When she was very seriously ill, I cried to Papa. When I got there, I knelt down. I said, Ijesu ẹni pé kọ́, ó tó tàbí rẹ̀ olùrẹ́jà mẹ́gbẹ̀ rẹ̀. Wòríra rẹ̀ wòríye rẹ̀ ó tẹ́ra nílẹ̀ olùrẹ́jà mẹ́gbẹ̀ rẹ̀. Edebiri pé kọ́, ó tẹ́ra nílẹ̀ olùrẹ́jà mẹ́gbẹ̀ rẹ̀. You know what he said? He said, my son Joseph, say don't cry. He said, I will not deceive you. Although people call me, although I'm Mr. Obama and the John of the other people. He said, I don't have this reliable traditional medicine men again. I won't tell you lies. I won't deceive you. If it was then, in the olden days, I would have just said, go and call me this one from this village. You will tell your wife, but they are no more. They are all people who don't want to chop your money. They pray to God. Please just pray to God. Let God decide. Whatever decide, God decides. Take. I took his advice. I went back home crying. When I got to my side by my wife, I said, I'm going to meet this someone. See what this someone said. And this someone said we should pray. It's okay. Well, that is the way I see it. So, my dear children of Papa, try as much as possible to uphold the legacy in their life. May so rest in peace.
The Chief Protocol Officer who represented the Secretary to Edo State Government gave an address on behalf of the government.
The very distinguished chairman of today's occasion, other distinguished members of the high table, Oba Atokwe, children of the iconic, legendary Chief David Uyuhumwn Edebiri of blessed memory. I greet you. Today, Mr. Chairman, sir, permit me, I'm going to speak the language that Chief Edebiri of blessed memory will understand right now. Ọwụnọba Uyuhumwn aragbèrèdú ọ̀tọ́nẹ̀ anáfọ̀ẹ́lẹ́sẹ̀ nílùú Ewori Arise. Oya look in Anubude. Ìwọ́n bá kà á so ikegwe ìbàbákan ọdún táwọn ọ̀rọ̀ gbàlẹ́ kàọ̀ ní ààrẹ ìkódọ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní gbòfin. Kèrèbùsẹ̀ náà sọ́lùkù mi o, kèrèbùsẹ̀ náà sọ́lùkù mi o, kèrèbùsẹ̀ náà sọ́lùkù mi rẹ̀, kèrèbùsẹ̀ náà sọ́lùkù mi o. Ẹgbẹ́ níye sí Màyàtá Uyuhumwn Edebiri David Uyuhumwn Edebiri ló wọ́n ẹ̀ láti àṣàgbéyàn ọ̀nà fíṣọ́ ìlàgbéyàwó. Ìyẹn náà wèé wá ọ̀nà yàgbégbà ààrẹ ní kàóní ònyàmọ́ ààrẹ kàmàkódì rákà àkàrò sàmúdásí. Ẹ̀rí yìí ní wọ́n wá ara yóò ṣùgbọ́n ọkà Edebiri ó ní orí àṣẹ náà ẹ̀rẹ́ náà bá ọ̀sẹ̀ rẹ̀ dẹ́ orí sàmá rẹ̀ náà láì ògidì nìkan olókòlùkò fún ẹ̀ ní ẹgbẹ́ dára ní ìgbé era ní gbótàn era ní kòkòmọ̀ era ní bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní owó nàṣàkọ̀tì àkọ́kọ́ kún yẹ̀wò ogun ẹ̀ka alákàṣẹ̀rẹ̀ tó ọ̀wà táì ẹ̀fún yẹ era ní kàmàkódì ògidì nìkan ọ̀gbọ́n àlẹ́lẹ́sẹ̀ nínú ìpọ̀ ohun ẹsẹ̀ ní igi awẹ́wẹ́ anadékàgbé àkí àwọn ogun ẹsẹ̀ ní bàbá ẹ̀yìn ìnòyé ìwúrú tó ṣe umade òkìnnánú bóde arákàlù sàmúdásí ìhúnga ó sá àlọ́ ẹ̀yùrù rẹ̀ ẹ̀dẹ́rẹ̀dẹ̀ náà bí láti má dún kàánú ẹ̀yìn ìwé bàbá ọ̀rọ̀kọ̀rọ̀ bí ó kú sẹ̀ kúrú pé kọ̀yàrá gbọ́ kẹwẹ̀ lọ́hùn dá wẹ̀ máa wú wàhálà kẹyà kún ní èmi ọ̀rọ̀ ẹni gbé. Ìgbà ooo ìgbà olówó ìgbà ooo ìgbà ìgbà olówó ọmọ rẹ̀ ìgbà ìgbà olówó.
The former Speaker, Edo State House of Assembly, Honorable Frank Okiri, made a remark.
And the Speaker will now wrap up all of the talk today. Mr. Speaker!
Let me say Mr. Chairman, the head of the Executive, other members of the right table, please permit me to stand on the existing protocol that have been established. I greet you all. Well, I'm not really able to wrap up all that have been said. Let me quickly say and put that record straight.
I am actually here as one of the sons of the late Edebiri. He has been a father and a real father to me. A really short period, we were able to really wrap. I enjoyed every bit of advice, and in fact it was a direction to me. And sustaining his legacy as a matter of reality is not going to be an easy task even to this generation. I want to be excused to say that we may have lost the direction and the capacity and ability to tap from his legend and form a way of life has long been distorted. A lot of persons have spoke, and we have been hearing, like somebody said, this same approach to political development. We recognize where we are. We acknowledge our progress, but like some speakers have said, we are not willing to accept the freedom that is standing at our face. When a captor, a victim of a captor enjoys his prison, let me use that word, then it is practically impossible to talk about freedom. It's practically impossible to talk about liberation. So the question we must ask ourselves is going back to history to look at the life our daddy lived. And the life of him, like Tony Inaoro, Linade Azikiwe, and so many of our late heroes. What were their value system? What were those things they really appreciate doing? I went through the University of Benin. I was among the student leadership. And I recall our value then. Students became the most respected, sector of society, not because they have the powers, but because their wants are limited, and what they intend to see is a better society. They could stake out their life for it. But today it's no more. All of us have become marketers and hustlers in the field, and that's why we have subjected ourselves to be tools in the hands of the senior politicians. So we must recognize what we want and how to get what we want. We must recognize that. We are no longer cheap. It's all about people, yes. But these people are better placed when they are, subordinates to their oppressors. That's what they like. We have seen ourselves as thoughts. We talk about the ritual of going to an election every 4 years. And what do we want? So it is a lot more than making a choice of who can do certain things. Because of course, Julius Caesar in Mambe said it a long time ago that there is no art to find a mass construction. So no matter the rhetorics, no matter how fluent, no matter how much knowledge you have about governance, you may not be able to deploy the ideas of what you want to the people eventually if you are elected. And that is why the older leaders have become better than the new leader. So we just in fact, even as bad as Babangida was. I remember that was the first time I met with the guest speaker of today, Dr. Uyuhumwn. We were young scholars then, and we were ready to sacrifice our life for democracy. These were our leaders. Nobody was talking about money. The first time I saw a student union leader who wants to be a president brought in over 15 brand new cars to campaign on campus. And thereafter, we see student union leaders elected and being sworn in government houses. In my time, if you as a student leader and you enter into the governor's office, as you are coming back, you are dethroned. And where are we? Some of these students are using you as a point of contact because that is the hub of the youth and the leaders of tomorrow. You see, many of you may not really have read about our late legend. He was a civil society, he was an activist, he was a pro-democracy leader, and he was one of the nationalists. And you know what the nationalists were then? These were people that stood on a moving train. They were ready to sacrifice their life. No money, no amount of money to buy Cheif Edebiri. He speaks truth to power. How many of you know where he lives? Go and look at the building that house the man today. You will know that the man was a true leader of the masses. Just take a look. They go right there. Go and look at where Cheif Edebiri lived till he died. But these days, you see students, they are already interested in building state-of-the-art house. They want to write the latest car. Even the government's colleagues out there, it is no longer how, but it's the end that justifies it. So please, I think we must try to locate where we have our problems. Otherwise, we will never get the solution. Thank you.
Thank you. The chairman of the occasion, sir, the rapporteur, as they said, they will be summarizing what has happened here. But just before I call on the leader of that team, the professor of theatre arts in the University of Benin, Kawa campus, Professor C. Ogono, I'd like to really thank the representative of our OPA for his patience with us this morning. Can we put our hands together for Uyuhumwn Edebiri? Thank you for this, your uncommon patience with us. Inego Abi, Wawese, Imwa Yahweh Abi, Prof.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman of the occasion, the Oba's representative, Uyuhumwn Edebiri OON, the Edebiri family, and our distinguished guests. I believe that we have all enjoyed the lecture of today. Yeah, if we have, can we give a clap to the Edebiri family? I'm sure that this is what the chief himself would have wanted. Yes, talking about politics, talking about the betterment of the Nigerian society. That is something that is dear in his heart. And I'm sure that if you have enjoyed the lecture of today, then we must have fulfilled one of the legacies of Cheif Edebiri. We would just like to wrap up the discussions of today by reading some of the key points that were raised. One, that the lecture of today has been put together to honor the memory of Cheif Edebiri by keeping to his ideals and legacies and the values for which he stood. Values of forthrightness, because he was a nationalist, he was a fighter, and he was one of those who stood to represent what democracy is. There is need to transform the ideals for which the Edebiri stood, to better the life of the common Nigerian in the areas of education and healthcare. Edebiri was a person who was known to have committed himself to a better life of the Nigerian people. And that is one of the reasons why we are here today. And I'm sure the lecture of today represents commitment to a better Nigeria. For the lecture also today, we noted that there is need to get people of Nigeria, that the people of Nigeria to manage the resources of the country for the people and by the people. This points to the fact of equality and the need to wipe out three critical areas in this country. That is the area of poverty, the area of unemployment, and the area of illiteracy. These are areas that need to be abolished, and they are fundamental to the development of the country, Nigeria. Only as an organization, a non-governmental organization set up by Cheif Edebiri stands for good governance. There is a need for all of us as a people to fight for good governance and the implementation of policies that will bring about good governance for Nigeria. There is a need for us as a people, especially to fight for our development in the areas of human rights, the rights of women, the rights of the youth, and more especially the budget-making process and policies must be people-centered. All to be involved in the political space, you and me. And this is what COLI stands for and advocates. There is need for governments to be elected to be responsive to the needs of the people. We are talking of democracy. We are talking of people responding to good governance. We have identified also here today that the Nigerian people need to get out of complacency and get into action and be involved in the political space. Governance must be people-centered. That has been identified in the discussions today. It's also been identified that leadership is about the people, because that's what democracy is about. But the big question here today in Nigeria is the Nigerian democracy really accessible? Is it accessible to the people? So there is a need to, give an answer to that. And the way we can do that is to ensure that we all get involved. It will also be identified in the discussions today that poverty needs to be frontally addressed through industrialization. Therefore, key actors in governance must address the issue of industrialization of the society. One of the aspirants today talked of the fact that the democracy that we identify here in Nigeria is the kind of democracy that can be defined as government of some people, for some people, and by some people. And that is something that we must properly attack and address as a people. These are some of the key points that we'll be able to identify here. It's not been an easy task for us sitting there, but I believe that we have done justice to the discussions today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Uyuhumwn.
The chairman of the occasion made a closing remark.
It's been a very fruitful discussion. We've had from those who are coming. Of course, we heard from those who have know what it has been. The speaker spoke eloquently about what our challenge is, the key one. And the way to get out of it, he was very particular about massive orientation of our people. Because the biggest and the hardest thing you can ever do is when a prisoner has become comfortable and friendly with his or her capture. It is very difficult to convince such a one. So therefore, if we talk about orientation, it's going to be a tough work to do. But let's begin to talk, let's begin to speak in our own immediate circles. Let's begin to talk about this. And eventually, we will get out of it. I have always been, for a long time, when I was in university, we organized symposia, theological classes. We were still talking about how we improve the condition of the people and the base of the society. And when you look at those things we were saying then, and you put them side by side, the situation we are now, we begin to wonder whether it was talking about them. Those things we thought that were probably slightly dark. Today when you put the very dark situation we are, it is become very difficult. The young people, let's begin very early, the students, let's begin to do this orientation very well. When the speaker was speaking, and actually he said that using you as a sort of a case study is important because whatever all of us have done and what we are doing today, you own the future. And when we talk about today, we are talking about the future of this country. There is need for you to really do soul searching. Some time ago, some people came to Lagos, students, and they said they were giving me an award. And I actually had a very frank discussion with them that I don't think that should be the preoccupation of our youth today. Our youth should be really talking about how do we get out from where we are? And I believe that we can do it. And I'm optimist. I strongly believe that in spite of the challenges we have today, I look at the world and I see an amazing great nation.
The eldest son thanked everyone on behalf of the family.
There will just be a few announcements at the head of the Edebiri household now, who will quickly make this announcement and then we'll take the closing prayer. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to invite our people to with us as we round up this anniversary tomorrow at the Isokos House, number 3 Isokos House. Thank you very much for your patience. It's been a long day, but it's been very interesting for us. Like the chairman said, this one is my father's loves. I will just do it in the way you can also love it. Thank you and God bless you. But sit down and wait for the contract to entertain us. For a few minutes before we go.
Thank you very much. The cultural troop, thank you. Can we rise for a formal closing prayer before the cultural troop will take over? Let's close the prayer.
Welcome back to the studios of Cheif TV. That was, of course, the day one, which was, of course, the memorial lecture held in honor of late Chief Dr. David Uyuhumwn Edebiri OON, the late Esogban of this great Benin Kingdom. The Esogban, before he passed, he was, of course, the oracle, the great oracle of the Benin Kingdom, a custodian of the rich culture and heritage of the great Benin Kingdom. He was, of course, loved by many. He was a father to many, not just his biological children. That's why everyone were on ground to celebrate him. He was a hero. On this note, we want to say a big congratulations to all the children of the late Esogban of Benin. A big congratulations to the very first son, the person of Reverend Dr. Collins Edebiri, and all of his siblings who came together to celebrate and remember their late father. And to all who took our time to be there with the children, Waya Wesi, Waya Domo, Waya Bewao, thank you so much for celebrating this great icon. Before we go, a quick reminder that our numbers are there on your screen. Give us a call today ahead of that event of yours. We travel round, so wherever your event may be, east, west, north, south, we are at your beck and call. All you need to do, just use the phone numbers right there on your screen. Give us a call. We come to your event venue with professionally trained cinematographers. Did you hear that right? Yeah, I guess you heard that. Okay, why not just call us today and let us do business together. Cheif TV is, of course, pocket friendly. Follow us on our Facebook handle. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe if you are yet to do that. If you are already subscribed to Cheif TV, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's the size of today's package until we come your way with the day 2, which is, of course, the reception, the unveiling, and the unveiling of the mausoleum, and, of course, a grand Thanksgiving held in his honor. I remain sincerely yours, Fumilayo Okorafo. To have a nice day.